Hello, my friends, and welcome to Season 2 of the Loner Deck Battles. My name is Joshua Wenninger, and today I'll be going over the first of the 3 Loner decks and give an in-depth explanation of each one. I know last time I tried making it all one video, but I think this time, in order to show off the deck to its fullest, I'm just gonna go over each one in its own episode, so I can go over each card, take my time looking at each one and discussing a little bit about how I feel the deck would play. So here's the first of the 3 Loner decks. Looks like this one is a Destiny Hero fusion deck. Ooh. Okay. So here we go. So the deck description says this deck aims to fusion summon Destiny Hero and Vision Hero monsters by taking advantage of the strengths of each hero archetype. The fusion monsters in this X deck, including Destiny Hero, Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, have a wide variety of effects and required fusion materials. Call in the appropriate hero monster for the occasion and bring about your destiny of victory. So anyway, Destiny Hero Disc Commander is in this deck. Of course, it's only played at 1 because it has a once per duel effect, where basically when summoned from the graveyard, as long as it wasn't special summoned from the graveyard during the turn and was sent to the graveyard, you get to draw 2 cards. And it makes sense that it's only at 1 here because it's once per duel, but I still feel like it's a very strong effect. It looks like there's a few cards that can help both get in the graveyard and special summon it from the graveyard. So yeah. Okay, and then here's the and I guess what the numbers mean, 20 dash, I guess that's how many of each rarity I may have. So do I have, I don't think I have. Oh, it must go from the lowest rarity to highest rarity, because I doubt I have 2 glossy finish of this card. I think that's what it means. But anyway, Vision Hero increase. So this basically lets you, it's kind of like the artifacts where you place them in your spell and trap card zone, but with this one you get to place in the spell and trap card zone as a face-up trap, continuous trap, when you take battle effect damage. So pretty much any type of damage, except if you're dealing damage to yourself. Well, if you dealing effect damage to yourself, you can still do it. And you can still trigger it if, by purposely attacking into a monster on your opponent's side of the field that would cause you to take battle damage. So you can technically trigger it yourself. And then its trap card effect is pretty good because it allows you to tribute a hero monster to special summon this card from that zone. And then of course when this card is special summon, you get special summon level 4 lower Vision Hero monsters from your deck. So that's pretty good. And then yeah, they're hard once per turns for each of the effects. Okay, and then here's the Destiny Hero Denier. I think this is one of the newer Destiny Hero cards, it looks like. So it looks like this one lets you basically from many of the zones except from your field or hand, take one of those and then place on the top of your deck. So that's not too bad. It allows you to recycle from any of those zones that mentions, either the graveyard, banished, or deck, so that's pretty nice. Or if it's from the deck, it's not really recycling, but like putting it on the top, it's pretty nice. And then if you can pair that with like a draw card, you can get it right away pretty much. So that's not too bad. And then also it special summons itself when you have a Destiny Hero monster either on your field or in the graveyard. Wow. That's pretty good. Except itself, of course, but still will be able to trigger a lot, so that's a pretty good extender right there. Has overall good effects. Then Diamond Dude, I remember Diamond Dude, he lets you once per turn excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a normal spell, you get to basically activate it without paying any of its costs. So that is such a good card. I remember like people would play it with cards like that. One card that makes you have to discard 2 cards to add a normal spell to your hand. They would be like using that so they wouldn't have to pay the cost. So you just get to add a spell to your hand without discarding anything. So that was really nice. Also, a really nice thing is like if you combine with like a Paw of Desires, for example, you don't have to pay the cost of banishing, and then it's basically just a Paw of Greed. So yeah. Okay. So there's that one, and then Vision Hero Vion, one of the best Vision Heroes. Too bad they only have it at 1 in this deck. I think if this was like a non-loner deck, you would definitely want this at 3, but it's fine. Because you can easily like get out other ways, either search it out or special summon out, I'm sure. So I'm sure there's easy ways of bringing it out still. But anyway, what it says is it's basically a mill for any hero monster when it's normal special summon. And then that effect is a hard one per turn, but it's fine. And then also you get to banish a hero monster from your graveyard to add a polymerization. So it's a free search for polymerization, but it has to be the original polymerization or card that states that it's treated as polymerization while it's in the deck. You can't add a card that has polymerization in its name, otherwise it would be worded differently. Still not bad though. A search for polymerization. Anyway, next card is Destiny Hero Drill Dock. This basically lets you special on its normal special summon. You get to special summon something other than this specific card. Wait, no, I guess you can special summon another one of these guys from your hand, but it is a hard once per turn, so it's not like you can abuse the effect. The piercing is kind of cool, but it's mainly gonna be just used for the being able to get that free special summon of a Destiny Hero monster with attack less than or equal to his card, which is probably quite a few of the other Destiny Heroes. I'm seeing a lot of them have attack less than or equal, so it should be good. So I think it just, yeah, there's a few but that don't have less than equal attack to it, but most of them do, so you should be able to pull off quite a bit. And then this one, Destiny Hero Decider, I'm not sure if you actually play this in like a regular Destiny Hero deck, but it's fine. It's not too bad. The level 6. Okay, since this is a fusion festival, that level 6 higher lockdown of attacks this card will probably be applicable quite a bit. So that's actually not too bad. And then these are both once per duel effects, but you can still use both. Both just once per duel effects. So this basically allows you to put a graveyard Destiny monster back to your hand during the end phase when this card is either normal or special summons. That's not bad. And it also allows you to negate damage from a card or effect by returning it to your hand, which I don't know if that matters as much. See, it's not that good. Like, the first effect is kind of slow, but it's not bad. But I'm not sure if it would like be used in a regular. And then anyway, Destiny of Celestial is the next card. This basically destroys your opponent's spells. But it has to be face up, which kind of sucks. But okay, and then it also has a graveyard effect, but you need to control no cards. You need to have no cards in your hand in order to activate it. Like, the little bit of burn too is kind of cool. Like, if you can actually destroy a spell, it can come up if like your opponent's playing an annoying like continuous trap or field spell. And then also it has a pretty nice graveyard effect, which basically allows you to banish this along with one of the Destiny monsters from the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So that's pretty good, and you can activate that more than once if you like can like get it from your banish zone again, which are ways of doing that. And then Visionary Affairs is another card that's kind of similar to increase, as it like can go to the spell or trap card zone. Oh wait, never mind. No, it's not. It's simply just has a cool way of special summoning itself. I mean, discarding a Destiny Hero monster, discarding a Hero monster from your hand can be pretty good if it's a Hero monster with a graveyard effect to special summon it. And then when this card is brought out, you can place a Vision Hero monster from your deck to the spell and trap card zone, which would probably be increased, but you can also do Vion, but I don't know if you would. I don't think there's really any way of like doing something if you do that with Vion. Anyway, so you technically do have a few options, but increase is definitely the best option. Yeah. And then it also has a no monsters other than Hero monsters restrictions, but I'm pretty but like that shouldn't be too big of a deal. You're mostly just summoning, fusion summoning, Hero monsters, anyway during your turn. And then Destiny Hero Dynatag, probably not that important. It allows you to negate battle damage and inflict 1,000 to each player, and then also allows you to give your Destiny Hero monster a little bit of a boost by banishing from the graveyard. So it has a graveyard effect, so you can like discard off of Ferris. Its graveyard effect is like whatever though. This one is really good for its graveyard effect. Its other effects don't really matter as much, but they can come up. You get to give one of your monsters a little bit boost by attributing a monster other than itself. Oh wait, no, it gives itself a little bit boost, which probably isn't going to come up. What will come up is more likely is the graveyard effect, which you can discard off of Ferris, and then you can have its graveyard effect to basically special summon a monster that you draw during a draw phase. So you would have to basically wait until your next turn, but it's not too bad of a card. And then Destiny Malicious is really good. It allows you to special summon out another copy of itself by banishing it from the graveyard, which isn't bad. You can use it for polymerization plays and like banish it to bring out another copy of itself, and that can be used for other plays. It's definitely better in a link spammy deck, but it's not bad in a deck like this. And then Destiny Hero Dogma allows you to special summon this. It special summons itself when you tribute 3 monsters, and it includes 1 Destiny Hero monster, so that means the others don't necessarily have to be Destiny Hero monsters. So that's kind of cool. And then as long as the opponent doesn't destroy this card right away, you can have your opponent's life points during your next standby phase. So, I mean, it's not that great of a card, but it does have potential. The having is kind of cool, and then has decent stats too. And then Destiny of Plasma is basically special summon via the same way as Dogma, and it allows you, and this has a much better effect. It allows you to basically millenniumize, restrict one of your opponent's monsters, and then when you equip it to itself, you gain an attack equal to its original attack. But unlike millenniumize, restrict, or those type of cards, it can still actually attack and allow other monsters to attack. Oh, it's equal to half the original. Still pretty good, since its base stats on 1900 attack. And defense doesn't really matter. And then, of course, Hoppy's Feather Dust. So I don't really need to go into much of this. Just really good for destroying back row if your opponent is playing a lot of that. And then, oh wow, I just noticed that Lightning Storm is in here. Huh. Anyway, so 1 polymerization, because it can be searched via Vion. I don't think I need to go much into that. It's a pretty good card to go into fusion, to go into different fusion summons, which this deck is all about. I mean, and the Fusion Festival is all about. And then 1 Monster Reborn. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you already know its effects, allowing you to either special summon some of your own monsters for even further plays, or one of your opponent's monsters if they have a really big boss monster in the graveyard that can actually be special summoned. One thing to note is, like, you actually need to fusion summon properly in order to special summon back the fusion monsters, but you'll mostly be doing that anyway, so it can also bring back the fusion monsters if you have a big boss fusion monster in your graveyard. And then Reinforcement on the Army. It's really good because it allows you to add a level 4 or lower warrior monster, which is basically your whole deck, except for a few specific cards, but most cards. So yeah, that's really good. Destiny draw. Oh yeah, and also another thing is, these are all normal spells, and so you'll be able to actually trigger them off of Diamond Dude as well. And then Destiny draw is yet another normal spell, so you'll be able to trigger it off of Diamond Dude, and when you do, its cost doesn't really matter all that much, but it just basically acts as a pot of greed. But like, not that cost really matters all that much, but hey, it's pretty nice. It's another normal spell for Diamond Dude, and it lets you draw 2 cards. It's an overall good card, of course. And it can be even good for some of the Destiny Hero monsters that have graveyard effects. And then Fusion Destiny allows you to fusion summon using materials from your deck. fusion summon a Destiny Hero. One monster that requires a Destiny Hero monster. Yeah, it's really good. It allows you to use materials from your deck. And then the whole special summoning monsters except Dark Hero monsters doesn't really matter because it's mostly what you'll be summoning anyway. So yeah, it's just really good because it's one of those from deck. So yeah, that's really good. And then Dr. D. Okay, so it's basically trading off one of your hero monsters in grave by banishing it to special summon a different target. So you have to have 2 different targets, but you can use this to also special summon Destiny or Fusion monsters from your graveyard as well. So that's not too bad. And then also it has a little bit of a attack manipulator which can come into play by giving one of your Destiny monsters the attack of the other. So you can power up, so if you need to use that. But like it's a first, so it's not too bad. Especially the first effect is really good. Seems really good. And then D-Force allows you to add a plasma to your hand. And then while you control plasma, wow, it doesn't allow you to draw during the draw phase. But your opponent cannot target cards you control with card effects, and each Destiny Hero plasma you control gains 100 attack for each monster in the graveyard. Cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, also can make a second attack during each battle phase. So yeah, it definitely has a drawback to make up for the other 2 effects. I mean, the drawback could be minuscule if you're like winning anyway, but like maybe don't. But you don't have to special summon the plasma if you don't want that no draw drawback. But if you're about to win anyway, and the draw doesn't really matter, or if you really want the plasma, it might be worth it. And then diffusion. So diffusion is basically the anti-polymerization. If you really want to protect your fusion card, or you want to bring out a different fusion card, you can play this and then do whatever you want with the materials that get special summoned. Send the fusion monster back to the extra deck. Oh wait, no, also you can target your opponent's fusion monster too. Which is gonna come up quite a bit. So if your opponent has a really annoying fusion, and it's really nice as a quick play, because you can do it during the opponent's turn as well. So if they're about to like win with the fusion, you can just activate this as long as the fusion monster can be targeted, which I think most fusion monsters will be able to be. But so yeah, pretty good. And then super polymerization is really good for another disruption play. Yeah, I think a lot of you would know how that works. And it has that neither player can respond to this card, basically. Can activate cards' effects in response to this card's activation. So they can't really negate it. So that's pretty good. And then Cosmic Cyclone. One Cosmic Cyclone. I probably would have this probably would have been better as a Lightning Storm, since I mean Lightning Storm could trigger off of Diamond Dude anyway, but I mean, could it? I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, Cosmic Cyclone could just as easily been replaced by Lightning Storm, but oh well. This one allows you to banish a spell trap on the field, which could come into play sometimes if the spell trap had a graveyard effect. And then Call by the Grave. I think a lot of people already knows how this works. Basically, you can stop your opponent's hand traps like Ash Blossom and stuff like that, or you can banish a monster from the grave. Like if it has a good graveyard effect, you can banish that. If it can't, also trigger in the banish zone. But also its effects will be negated, so that's probably a pretty good stop to it. Necrofusion is only using materials from your graveyard to fusion summon, but that can be pretty good. It also banishes those fusion materials face down, which isn't, so it's gonna be really, you're probably not gonna be able to get them back, but I mean, still pretty good. Definitely graveyard is a really good place to be able to use materials from, besides like the deck, which is like so good. And then Break the Destiny allows you to so it's basically going to be used for Plasma Dogma, or maybe if any of your fusion level 8 or higher Destiny Hand monsters, or if you're playing Destiny Hand Dragoon, which it looks like you are, you can, it's basically usable for any of those. You destroy it and have your opponent skip the next main phase 1, which basically means they can't set up before the battle phase. But that's kind of a high cost, but hey, it could be worth it. And then also it has the graveyard effect, which allows you to banish it to add a specific spell or trap that specifies a Destiny hero. Or Destiny and Dragoon, which I don't think like any of your spells or traps really specify Destiny and Dragoon, but that's still good. You can search for a lot of your good spells or traps, and then each one you can only use like once on that turn, so you can't use multiple effects on the same turn. But like you could add your Fusion Destiny to your hand, so that's pretty nice. And then of the cards, but Fusion Destiny is a really good card, so being able to search it out is not bad. And then the last one is D Tactics, which allows you to have your hero monsters gain 400 attack, all the ones that you control, and it's permanent, so that's pretty nice. And then if a level 8 or higher, so this one again is for the level 8 or higher Destiny monsters or Destiny and Dragoon. If they're special summon, you get to banish a card from an opponent's hand, field, or graveyard. And then the one in the hand is random. And then this also has like an if it's destroyed by a card effect. So it can be just, so also you can just, I don't think you have a way to destroy yourself, so it's basically up to your opponent, I think. But it allows you to search for a Destiny monster, so that kind of come up too. Like if they don't know what it is and then they just try blind destroying it, you get to search for a Destiny hero, and that's any Destiny hero monster, so even the high level ones. So anyway, here's the X deck. So Mud Dragon the Swamp is one of the ones you'll probably be using more with the super polymerization to disrupt plays. And then of course, since a lot of your monsters are dark, you can just call dark, and then it protects both this card and those other monsters from being targeted with card effects. Yeah. And then Destiny of Dangerous allows, it's basically a mill for your Destinos by discarding any card from your hand. Yeah, you're probably not gonna be like discarding one to discard another card. It's probably mostly gonna be from your deck. But I guess a con can come into play, but mostly you'll be discarding a Destino from your deck. And then when you do that, Destiny monsters, it gives a boost to all Destiny monsters depending on the amount of Destiny monsters in your graveyard. It only lasts until the end of the turn, but that can be pretty good since it is a quick effect. So since it's attack manipulation card, I believe you can use it when your opponent has already declared an attack, and then now your opponent's monster may just be destroyed by battle because of it. I mean, if they know, they're probably not gonna attack and be attacking unless they can get rid of this card. But I mean, you might be able to catch a few opponents off guard with that. And then anyway, the next one is Vision Hero Adoration. That one, oh yeah, and then the materials for this are 1 Destiny and 1 Dark Effect, which is basically all of your cards anyway. So it's basically just 2 of any of your main deck monsters. And then this one calls for 2 hero monsters, which is basically any of your main deck monsters again. Or you could also use fusion monsters as materials for these summons too, if you can. But you're probably mostly going to be using main deck monsters for the as fusion materials. But this one allows you to basically have an opponent's monster lose attack or defense equal to the amount of attack or defense another one of your hero monsters controls. That is unfortunately not a quick effect, but hey, that can still be pretty good to be able to like get over one of your opponent's higher attack, higher base stat monsters. And then Vision Hero Trinity calls for 3 hero monsters, and it basically doubles its original attack during the same turn it was fusion summon, and it can make up to 3 attacks, but they have to be on monsters. And then Dystopia allows you to it allows you to burn your opponent equal to attack of a level 4 or lower Destiny monster in your graveyard. And when its current attack is different from its original attack, we'll share a few ways of manipulating its attack. And when you do, it's also a quick effect, so that's pretty nice. Like, so it works really well with Dangerous, since that's also a quick effect. You get to destroy a card on the field. It does target, so it doesn't go around targeting effects, but it's still pretty nice. The quick effect destruction when you can pull it off, and even if it's not a quick effect destruction, it's still really good. And then Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, one of the best new Destiny Hero cards, definitely. Whenever you can bring this card out, you probably will. It's pretty easily brought out by Fusion Destiny, since you can use materials from the deck. And this one's really good. um, the attack reduction based on the amount of hero cards in your graveyard, so that's not just monsters, is pretty nice. And then it also has a quick effect where you get to, which basically a scrap dragon, but it has to target itself only, and you target another card on the field and you destroy them both. So technically you could destroy the D-Tactics if you wanted to trigger its effect to search for another Destiny Hero card, but most of the time you'll probably be destroying one of your opponent's cards as a quick effect disruption, or on your turn if you really need to get rid of a card. And its graveyard effect allows it to special summon a Destiny monster from graveyard during the same phase of the next turn. So you can destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field along with itself. And then during the stamina phase, you can just target itself to special summon itself from the graveyard, which is what you'll be doing most of the time with it anyway. So it's really good. But I guess you could target another monster other than itself if you really wanted to. So it's kind of hard to get rid of because of that, being able to special summon itself from the graveyard. And then Destiny and Dragoon specifically calls for Plasma and Dogma, which is why you're playing both. This is pretty much a payoff for playing Dogma. This one says, once per turn, you get to target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if it was face up, you burn your opponent equal to amount of attack it had on the field. You can't conduct your battle phase, but it's still really good. Like if you're able to destroy a high attack monster, you can do a lot of burn with this thing. And then if this card is in your graveyard during your stamina phase, you get to it has a little bit of a worse Destiny Phoenix Enforcer in fact, but you do get to banish a Destiny card from your graveyard. So it's kind of good since it's any Destiny card, not just the monsters. So that makes it a little bit better, and then you get to special summon it. So kind of hard to get rid of, just like with the Phoenix Enforcer. A little bit hard to bring out since you need specific materials. And if you have Fusion Destiny, you're probably not going to be bringing this guy out. You'll probably instead bring the Destroyer. I really think the Destroyer is like the best target for Fusion Destiny, or really any of your Fusion like cards in general. But I mean, like, it can definitely depend on the situation. But I guess, like, when in doubt, just bring out the Phoenix Enforcer because it's pretty good. Dusktopia calls for specifically a hero fusion monster plus a Destiny hero. So this has to specifically use a fusion. And then but it has a pretty good payoff. If it's fusion summon, you get to fusion summon another fusion monster from your next deck using monsters from your hand and field as fusion material. So it basically gives you another fusion summon, which is pretty nice since you're not really running a lot of fusion summon as cards in your main deck. So that's pretty nice. An extra fusion summon as a payoff. And then it also has a quick effect where you get to protect one of either this monster or one of the other monsters from being able to be destroyed by battle card effects. And then also neither player will take damage from attacks involving that monster. So you can also technically target one of your opponent's monster, like if they have if they're trying to get rid of a monster by battle, that would be funny. Like you could just target that monster of theirs And now they can't just get rid of it all that easily. But most of the time you'll be protecting your own monsters. But I guess the fact that you can target one of your opponent's monsters can be good sometimes. Anyway, Destiny of Dominance is the next card, and looks like you're playing 2 of these as well. Probably wouldn't play 2 Destiny and Dragoons in a normal hero deck. You'd of course probably be playing a lot more super polymerization targets, but I mean, it's okay. You really only have 1 super polymerization target, and this has to specifically be with the same attribute but different types. So it's easy to fusion summon it, but like it's kind of hard to use super polymerization in a deck like this. Unless your opponent is specifically playing a mirror match for Destiny heroes. Unless you're playing a mirror match. Because otherwise, like, really the only, like, generic super polymerization target you have for this deck is Mud Dragon. That's only if you're playing against a Dark attribute deck, I guess. Well, no, you can target 2 of your opponent's monsters. Yeah, you can target 2 of your opponent's monsters, but still they have to be the same attribute and different types. So, yeah, it can be kind of hard to use the super polymerization, but it doesn't look too bad. Besides that, that's probably its biggest weakness. It could have used more super polymerization targets, like getting rid of a few of the duplicates I don't really need the duplicates for. Anyway, Destiny of Dominance states it calls for 3 Destiny monsters specifically. It allows you to rearrange the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, and also look at them. So that's pretty nice. So that gives you deck information as well. And when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it gives you a little bit of nice draw. And if it's destroyed by battle or card effect itself, you get to special summon 3 level 9 or lower Destiny monsters with different names in your graveyard. So there you go. But you need to have specifically 3 targets. So just make sure you have 3 targets, I guess. Okay, but like, so I think something I would probably change about this deck is probably -1 dominance, -1 adoration, -1 dangerous, -1 dystopia, -1 destiny and dragoon, and then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then or like any combination of those cards to basically put in as many like actual good super polymerization targets as you want, like Starving Venom Dragon, other cards, probably that Trishula fusion, for example, and other targets like that. Okay, but looking at the deck, my first thoughts, it doesn't seem all that bad. But, I mean, it does have the Phoenix Enforcer, so that's really nice. That Phoenix Enforcer can probably win a few games on its own, being as good as it is. You don't really have a lot of, I mean, you could use one of your fusion monsters also to bring it out, which might actually be worth it. You could, well, no, you're probably, yeah. But besides that, you don't have a lot of level 6 or higher main deck Destiny monsters. Do have a few though, like the Dasher, the Malicious. I think you have 6. Actually, no, you have quite a few. Wait, no, it's level 6 or higher. Never mind. So it looks like you have like 5 targets. 5 level 6 or higher targets. Which might be okay. But the Fusion Destiny definitely makes up for that. Anyway. Okay, so there's the deck, going through it. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. And anybody who wants to stick around, I'll be opening up a few Synchro Festival tickets, because I really need to get through some of those before they expire. Okay. So I think I'm gonna go through each one, explain them before I duel with them. Just gonna do that way. So I'll show also a few other things up, since I still have a little bit of time. I really like how they are better organized in missions here. So I need to collect this. I got 500 gems there. 20 gems, and then there's the Duel Live. I'll watch that on my own. I think they had a few new lifetime missions. I'm not sure. Anyway, and here's another thing they put out another survey. For those who remember the last survey they put out, so I answered it. I'll show you a few of the questions. Yeah, you get 50 gems for doing this survey, so it's pretty nice. I can't really go into another, but here are a few of the sample questions. They're pretty simple. Like all of the mandatory questions are multiple choice. And if you don't want to like take the time, like you can just do something like this. Like, I won't submit it again, but I'll just show you. So you can just do like this. So you can just answer positively for each one if you don't really want to, and then just like maybe select the first option if you don't really care. Or you can like be serious about it. It's probably not gonna make that much of a difference either way, but I think if you can be serious about it, maybe you should, because like maybe it will make a tiny difference, and if it does. And then this one, I never answered these, but you can if you want. Yeah, but all the mandatory ones you have to answer are multiple choice, so it should be pretty simple, and you get 50 gems for doing it, so I think you might as well. And it's not a ton of gems, but hey, it helps. It's basically free gems, so. Okay. And then they have a new structure deck, looks like one based on Cyber Dragons. And then they have a few other new cards, which one of the biggest new cards that people are talking about is definitely that Destiny of Phoenix Enforcer, which basically fits into any deck. It's good because it makes up for the lack of that that Dark End Dragoon or whatever it's called. Yeah. Okay, so now I'll be going into the pack openings. Oh yeah, and they added a few new accessories as well. So so you got that one, the Realm of Danger, for any Danger fans. I personally wouldn't recommend getting these since they cost gems, but if you really like any of these, and like maybe they don't cost real money, so at least there's that. So you got a fire, so a sleeve based on fire, and then a few new mates here. One based on Fallen about Baz, and then and then the Thunder Dragon Colossus. Okay. No new specials, it looks like. And then, but there's a few new normal packs, which I'll go over these new selection packs eventually, but not right now. Okay, so here's the Synchro Festival ticket. So it's still up if you still haven't used them, but there's 37 days left as of making this video, which is pretty recently. So by the time when I upload this, it should be the same day, so there should still be 37 days left. So anyway, I don't have a ton, so I'll just open 10 right here, since forced to open up 10. So I have no idea what. Actually, I should have looked at what you could have gone before going into it. Oh well. Okay, so I got Blackwing Tamer, Obsidian Hawk Joe, and here's the effect for those interested. I think people would play this in Blackwings, and then attack gainer. I don't think people really use this though. It just has something gaining attack, not really that good. There's better options for tuners. Two super rares, that's kind of cool. Anti-magic arrows, it's a notable card for Duel Links because it's really good in the farm deck. Like basically it helps make sure that your farm deck is able to go off, because it's very important. Because you pretty much wing until the very last turn, and if any of your cards don't go off, you're pretty much losing the duel, because like that's pretty much how you win with a farm deck. It's a specific set of cards, and if they don't go off, so this way you can stop your opponent from being able to use spells and traps during the battle phase that would go against your farm deck in Duel Links. Of course, it's not very good outside of the farming, even in Duel Links. So then these two, I don't think either of those are very good. So here's the next two. Again, this just does a little bit of attack boost, which isn't really that great. You kind of want your card to be doing more than just boosting attack. And then this one is probably not very good either. Got another anti-magic arrows. So that's cool. It's a foil. I'll take it simply because it reminds me of the good old days of when I was doing the farming in Duel Links. I don't really play Duel Links much anymore though. I got into Candy Crush, which is pretty fun. I just don't like how quickly you can lose lives sometimes on that. Anyway, so there's those two. I don't think Signal Warriors really played in a junk deck. I don't think it's a very good Synchron card. It doesn't really count as a Synchron card, but you know what I mean. It's made for the archetype. Ooh, 2 ultra rares. Okay, and then there's Overmind Archfiends. That's a new one that didn't show. I don't think that will be really used, but I'm not sure. I don't, and it's not generic either. It's specifically made for psychic decks. Okay, so and then Urgent Tuning is kind of good because it acts as a quick effect synchro. But if you want a quick effect synchro, IP Max Green is probably better for that. Got another Signal Warrior. And then there's another Synchro Barrier, which isn't really all that good. You have to tribute a Synchro monster in order to use it, and only protect you from damage. But I guess it can come in clutch, but probably not going to be using it. I just don't think the cost is worth it. So there's those two. So let's see now how many of each I have. So now I have 2 Obsidian Hawk Joes, which is probably the most notable thing that I got from this pack opening. I think that's probably my favorite card. But actually, I think the favorite card of the pack opening is definitely this foil Anti-Magic Arrows, just because of the nostalgia it brings up for Duel Links for me. Okay, looks like I got 4 of these things. And then of course you can't dismantle any of these cards because of how it works when you're opening any kind of legacy pack tickets. That only works for like when you're opening packs with gems, can you dismantle cards. So yeah. So definitely let me know which one of these cards is your favorite. And definitely let me know why. And if you want to choose more than one for different reasons, make a different category in your favorite one, that category, and have multiples. That's fine too. You can just explain your reasoning there. And if you want to give me any constructive criticism, I'm fine with that as well. Anyway, I'll be seeing the rest of you in the next episode of the Loner Deck Battles. Thanks for all who stayed for the pack opening. Bye.